You're a person who believes in pluralistic society in US,
Yes.
diverse, and symbolically you do the iftar party for the local Muslim community. Now, some people fear some Muslim groups even in US. So, how do you see, in the background of the French attack,
Yes.
the minority of the Muslims in the US and all over the world? Do you have any solution to this problem?
Well, first of all, our safety and the safety of our families needs to be considered. Everybody wants to be safe. But we have many Muslims and people who believe in Islam in our city and in the Indianapolis area. And these are peaceful, good citizens who only want to raise their families peacefully and as part of a community. We need to be safe, but I think it's important to recognize that most of these young men in particular, they're coming from Syria, are refugees. They are getting out because they don't want to be part of ISIS. They don't want to be part of the Islamic State. And the Islamic State has a history of taking these young men, in fact, recruiting them at gunpoint. And so the parents are telling them, get out of here until this is over. So we need to check very carefully to make certain that the bad guys have not put people in this group. But at the same time, we have to remember what America stands for. America is a country of people who were all refugees, who have always been immigrants. We have people in our country from every country in the world. Just in my small city, we have people speaking 40-some different languages who have come from different places around the world. This is the history of America, and it's the hope of America, is that people who are refugees, who come from the lowest rungs of society, can come to America, can work hard, and can be successful and live a wonderful life. And we have to be careful that the terrorists don't take that away from us.
There was a feeling that the Republican George Bush was very strong against terrorists, and President Barack Obama is little moderate. But today he has said he's going to, the United States is going to destroy the IS. We are going to be very strong. Do you feel that US took a very liberal stand towards the terrorism?
We have to protect our country. We have to protect our civilization. The president is exactly right. These are not Islamists. These are thugs. These are terrorists. These are people who kill people just to kill them, who want to destroy every artifact of Western civilization. All the advances that have been made have made people's lives better over the years. They want to control how people live and what they say, everything that goes against what we believe in our democracy. And I would have to say that everything that India stands for as well, which is a successful country where people can rise from any level of society and live a good life. India is the world's largest democracy. We are the world's oldest modern democracy. We have much in common. And all the civilized countries of the world, such as India and the United States and Europe, must work together to make certain that this threat to our civilizations ends.
You're going for US general elections, and the Democratic Party, Hillary Clinton is advancing, but even the Republicans find it difficult to find a popular candidate.
Well, there's many Republican candidates who would like to be president.
Yeah.
I haven't picked a favorite yet. I think that there are some very reasonable middle-of-the-road Republicans. Lindsey Graham from South Carolina, Mr. Kasich, who's been the governor of Ohio, Jeb Bush. These are all Republicans who represent traditional Republican values of hard work, of family, of low taxes, but understand that America is a welcoming country, that do not want to get involved in the social issues, but recognize that government should be about good jobs and improving creating an environment in which people's lives can be improved. And sometimes some people in my party have forgotten that Abraham Lincoln was the founder of the Republican Party. That's been forgotten by some. And there's a group of us in the Republican Party that are very intent on reminding people and trying to get the Republican Party back to what it used to stand for. But you have to realize that there's only two major parties in the United States. As a result, we call them big tents. They have people from all different beliefs in them. But the vast majority of Republicans, I think, believe as I do, and that is that the party should be about creating an environment where people can thrive, where people can prosper, regardless of where they come from.
You're a practicing Catholic.
Yes.
And how do you see the historic visit of Pope Francis to the United States?
The encyclical that he issued on the environment has been very influential in the United States. And I think it was a very good thing for him to do, is to point out that we believe that God provided this beautiful earth to us, and then it is incumbent upon us to take good care of it for the children that are yet to be born.
And so, what's your future plans in Carmel, the city of Carmel?
We want to continue to make it a welcoming place where people can thrive and prosper. We're trying to, everybody wants a car. Some families, want, and everybody wants to drive, but we have not necessarily done a good job in the United States of designing our cities so that people can get from place to place easily. And we're trying to do a much better job of that in Carmel. We're trying to go back to a very traditional type of neighborhood development, focus on architecture, on beautiful architecture, but not focus on building a city for cars, but rather building a city for people, where people can walk to all the places they need to go if they choose to walk. On making certain that they can walk to the schools, their place of religious worship, wherever they want to go. The suburbs in the United States were, when the car came along after World War II, it's important to remember that only 25% of households owned a car at the end of World War II in 1945 in the United States. And today, almost everyone, unless they live in a major city, owns a car. And so we went through a period of time where our suburbs, our newer cities, were designed for cars, not for people. We put all the stores over here and all the houses over here, and people had to drive back and forth. The factories were over here. As a result, the average American is spending 2 hours a day in the car. So my plans in Carmel are we're doing neighborhood centers where people can walk everywhere they need to go. They can work, they can live, their children can go to school, and they don't have to drive very much.
And do you promote cycling?
We do.
Yeah.
We promote separate cycle paths, which I saw more of in this city than anywhere else in India on my short drive from the airport today. But we separate the cycle paths. We call them bike paths from the traffic on the street, from the car traffic and the truck traffic.
And as I earlier asked you, you're a very popular mayor. Usually green initiatives may not be much popular. So how do you manage to balance this?
Oh, our green initiatives in Carmel have been extremely popular. We have added to our parkland by almost 1,000 acres. Yeah. We had only 40 acres when I became mayor. Today we have about 1,000 acres. We have made certain our water is clean and that our sewage, that what goes back into our river you could drink it and be healthy. And so it's actually cleaner than the water in the river. We We are trying to make our air quality as nobody wants to drink dirty water or breathe dirty air. And so these initiatives that I have done have been very popular, and they also many times save us money.
There is also a feeling that the family budget may be affected because of the green proposal. For example, you may get cheap fuel or something. The green ones are more very costlier. So
Well, except that, for instance, we turn most of our street lights into LED lights. We're saving several $100,000 a year for the taxpayers and a lower electricity bill. A car that's a green car may cost 10% more, but then the fuel, it works off partially off a battery. So it goes twice as far for the same amount of petrol or gasoline. So we try to point out the savings that one can achieve by going green. And we also talk about the alternative. What are the healthcare costs for breathing dirty air? Do people die sooner? Do their doctor's bills go up? Do the healthcare costs, which we all pay, go up a lot? And most people recognize that they do. If the air is dirty, healthcare costs go up, and that costs everybody money.